Hello, everybody, and welcome to the recap of round 36 of the Shuffle. 36 rounds, and we are just killing it. This is not the Zelda shirt is not a spoiler for what is the ranking. But as I don't know if you guys have realized it, whatever the OST is playing that is our #1 pick. So let's get into it right here. As always, we do stream these lives on Twitch, twitch.tv/noodleegg, so come hang out, come say hi and everything if you feel like it. But let's get into it, starting in number 7. Number 7 was the Maleficent section from Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Surprise, surprise again, the Chain of Memories is on the bottom of my list. Again, I don't like the card system very much, and I pretty much destroyed Maleficent, no issues. Cool fight because it's a dragon, but didn't really get to see its moves because I beat it so fast, to be honest. Not trying to brag, but you know, whatever. But basically, we went through Hall of Bastion, and we fought Maleficent at the end, which is pretty cool. No regular Maleficent fight, just the dragon, which is kind of sad, but you know, what can you do there? Maleficent took me 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 27 seconds, and all of 2 deaths. Next up, we're doing Vexen 1. I don't know exactly what that is. But I'm assuming I didn't leave Mall of Bastion because I assumed that Vexen was like standing right outside. So, but basically we have 2 Vexen fights in a row. I don't know how it works at all, like I said. So I don't really know what to expect going forward here. But we're getting close to the end of the Sora side of Chain of Memories, which is really nice for me. Moving on to number 6, we have. So this was in first place last time. It's now down at number 6, and that is the Chapter 3 Seaside of Celeste. So, this one took me 1 hour, 43 minutes, 31 seconds, 505 deaths. If you're here on Twitch, you know I took a break in the middle of it to go play Elden Ring, because I was like, I can't do this right now. The Oshiro being in there all the time was just really frustrating for me. I didn't find this particularly fun, but it's still, I enjoyed the game. It's still Celeste, which I enjoy, but I'm very much feeling, I'm feeling very much Celeste fatigue. Basically, you have little black little guys that would go back and forth. That was a big part of it. And when that was going, you also have Oshiro like swarming at you and flying across the screen, which you had to use at the end. I thought the concept was really cool, but in practice it wasn't nearly as fun. Hour 43:31, 505 deaths. Not my favorite, just straight up. Next up, after 3 Seaside, we're going to Chapter 4 Seaside. Woo, crazy. We're getting close to being done though, and yeah, I'm excited because and I'll talk about what's next after that. Moving on to number 5. This was in 3rd last time. Moving down a couple steps to number 5, and that is the Faraz section, basically the Snow Temple of Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. This one took us, I'll give you my official notes here, 2 hours, 13 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 death. And this was like a tale of 2 stories. I actually really enjoyed the dungeon, which I'll get into in a second, but let's talk about the thing to it. So, first off, you go into the snow area. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like snow areas and games, things like that. I love snow, period. And so you have this whole thing where you have to stop in this area. You have this cool puzzle with the Anukis, I think they're called, where there's 6 different Anukis, and each of them have to have a different puzzle for it. They have like this one didn't want to be with a guy with a blue shirt. This guy didn't want to have antlers. So that part, I loved figuring out that puzzle. I really enjoyed that. And I was thinking, okay, we pretty much go right there. Then we go to the dungeon. We're going to, and so you know, we finished that. They open it up. We fight this rock guy, which is also super frustrating because I don't know if it's because I'm using a mouse to play or what, but it didn't work completely. So I did enjoy that particular fight. The fight with the rock spider thing, but whatever. You know, moving on past that, we go in and then there's just everything is snowy, and so you can't see anything. You can't get the trail. And so it was like, why don't you go over to this side and go talk to this guy? And I was like, okay, I'll do that real quick. And then he wasn't in the house, and so you had to go find him all on the trail. And it was like, it felt like it was a lot of padding to just elongate the game, and I didn't enjoy that as much. But you finally got into the dungeon. The dungeon itself was really cool. you had the snow things, you got the boomerang, but you used it to, and there's like a lot of ice puzzles to push these bells into place so you can ring them. And you'd have to ring the bells with the boomerangs in different ways to get different doors to lower. I thought that was super cool. So it's definitely my favorite dungeon so far in the game, far and away. Froz itself with the boss battle was not amazing. Not my favorite boss battle. I like the first boss a lot better. Basically, his whole thing was he had fire and ice. So you would do like a fire, get a fire on his ice part, get the ice fire, the freezing fire on his fire part. You had to go back and forth on that. So I didn't like him as nearly as much. It's a cool concept, but I didn't think it lived up to it. But, you know, whatever. And because we did a dungeon, we have to go back to the Tower of Spirits. So Tower of Spirits 3 is our next section. We'll be back with that, though. Moving on to the number 4. This was in second. This dropped a couple spots to number 4. And this has nothing to do with the quality of the game. It's more of the other stuff was a little bit higher on my list. And that is the Ceres X section for Metroid Fusion. This one took me 49 minutes, 18 seconds, and 5 deaths. So the biggest problem here, there wasn't really anything wrong with it. The boss battle wasn't my favorite. It was mainly like, in other boss battles, like Zazby X, the previous one, like you could definitely see him on screen at all times, and you could like knew how to avoid it and everything, so you could tell what you're doing. Whereas Ceres kind of just flew around on the screen like crazy, and you just have to quickly react. And I didn't like that as much. I like being able to see it and see what the boss is doing and react to it. Think Souls, you know? And so I didn't enjoy that as much. That brought it down. I did learn, however, that the cores you can shoot from any angle. So we got that though. We used the bomb a lot. We got the speed booster right there at the end, which is cool. And I couldn't figure out how to and then I couldn't figure out how to get to a save point after that, so that got a little frustrating. But well, it's okay. We're back to it. I still really like this game. I love Metroid in general. So the next one we have is Security Robot Box BOX1, whatever that is. And so that'll be next. I'm excited for that. Very, very excited. And yeah, so there's that. And third place, this was in 6th place, and moving all the way up to 3. So the previous one, why this one was in 6, before I talk about what it is it was just so short. It was super duper short, but this one was much, much longer. And this is the Challenge of Atlas and the Challenge of Poseidon. I tried to put just 2 things together when I did this, and I didn't realize that I probably should have just let them separate. So Challenge of Atlas and Challenge of Poseidon took us 3 hours, 27 minutes, 32 seconds, 34 deaths. This was a beast. So I really like the Challenge of Atlas. I'm trying to think. So first we had the doors going in and out. We got through those. We started pushing the deal around, and we cut to Atlas. And we go through, and there's like things going across and everything. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. It was super cool. I liked all of that. The Challenge of Poseidon didn't like nearly as much. I thought it was just kind of felt a little tedious, and especially the part. Okay, we have to talk about this because it was the biggest reason why it wasn't higher, and that is the section where there's a guy in the box. You have to get him all the way to the top, and like you have to do your goal is just sacrifice him by birding him alive, and he's yelling at you the whole time. And then these guys, and they never stop spawning, so you have to just go, and it is so frustrating every time I play this game. I love this game, I really do. But this game, that is one of my memorable moments of the game, and I cannot stand it. I hate that part of the game so much, so much. So that, So that was a big thing why it's not higher, but I still really enjoyed it. As you can tell, it's still above the other stuff. Really, really cool section, but overall, no. The next section will be the Challenge of Hades and Eclipse of Madness. This could be another really long section. Only 3 more sections left, period, in this game. We're getting really close to the end. This is, going really, really quick. So we'll get done with this pretty soon. This is already longer than the entirety of Chains of Olympus, but we're not even close to how long Ascension took. So, Challenge of Hades, Eclipse of Madness. We'll keep moving. There was also the frustrating thing where we found out that I can't get full magic. That was kind of sad and frustrating, to be honest. But that's more of just me not paying attention, I guess. So there you go. Moving on to the number 2 spot. So this was in 4th, and now it's in, this one was in 2nd. And that is the Doom Dragon segment for Golden Sun: The Lost Age. This one took us 116-38 with 5 deaths. So the let's see. So this had 2 parts to it. So we had the boss battle and the puzzle portion. So we had basically 4 puzzles, 4 sections, I guess. There was a wind area, an earth area, the fire area, and a water area. And there was like different puzzles with each. I'm trying to remember them. One of them was like a block pushing puzzle. Another one had to do with blaze and like, you know, doing all that stuff. Another one had to do with, was it frost pillars? I don't, it's been a minute. And then, you know, so there was all that. And we had the 2 DOS, we got up there. And basically the wise one, the big floating rock dude, turned your parents into a dragon. So you have to defeat the dragon, which went really, really smoothly. And we'd only died 5 times. And that, we only had 5 deaths period. And we kept those alive, like, we kept cycling, we did really, really well. So much better than we did with Doom Dragon, or Dolahan, so. And it's also had the finales, that really felt good. That was the biggest reason why it's so high, is it's the finale. Yeah, there's the rest of that one. The next one will be the Tangle Bloom segment of Golden Sun: Dark Dawn. So, new game, pretty exciting, you know. But yeah, so there we go. And then in number 1, in first place, if you couldn't tell by the music, this previous one was in 5th place, and now it is in 1st. And that is the excavator fight and showdown with the Arkham Knight. Bro. So we have the thing where you're underground and the Arkham Knight's coming at you. You have to go through the passageways and explode the passageways with damage. I actually like that fight. I think it's pretty cool, but it's obviously not like the tip of the iceberg, like the best one. Showdown with the Arkham Knight, I love it. Story-wise, it's amazing. The reveal that, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, the reveals that the Arkham Knight is actually Jason, the second Robin, hits super hard, man. It hits hard. You can see the J on his face when the Joker tortured him. It's just, man. And then he like poofs at the end. That hits so hard. And then I actually did the next part where you confront Scarecrow on the roof. I didn't realize that's the next thing, so this next part will be shorter. But I love this. It took me 38 minutes, 27 seconds, not too long. 6 deaths. I had to retry a couple times because I kept messing up. A lot of it because I just like got caught by Jason. He sniped me, things like that. But man, what a great section. It's just the story of this game is really, really good, man. I'm enjoying this game so much more than I remember, honestly. So the next section is Confront Scarecrow, which we already did, sorry. And the Siege of GCPD, that'll be a good one. That'll be a really good one. Barbara's alive, too, I forgot to say that. Barbara's alive, we saved her, and that's kind of where we stopped, was right there where we saved, right after we saved Barbara. So, that's all, yeah. That's it right there for the recap. Because we defeated Golden Sun, won Golden Sun: The Lost Age, though, beat the Golden Sun: The Lost Age, we will make a little tier list about the bosses. So, hang on in just 2 seconds. I'll be right back, and we will find a tier list to put them in, and we'll make it. So, hang on in 2 seconds, and see you in a second. Okay. Alright, we are back. So, unfortunately, I could not find a tier list that had the bosses on it. And I don't really know how to make those things. So, I'm just going to talk through them real quick, and yeah, let's talk through them. What number are we starting with? The first number is 15. 15. There are 15 bosses in this game, so let's just see what things end up. So, in 15th place, in last place, is Chess Beaters. This was the first boss that you fight in the Kandarian Temple, and so it's just 3 monkeys. That's all it is. It's a good intro boss. It's kind of like for me, it's a reward from beating the Kandarian Temple, which is a pretty cool one. You learn Lash and everything, but it's just 3 monkeys, and they pump each other up. That's about it. Pretty lame, to be honest. 14th place. 14th place. We have Briggs. Briggs is it's kind of like reminiscent of the bandits for the first Golden Sun, but basically it's just Briggs and his 2 pirate buddies from Champa. They're trying to get away. You're trying to stop them. So it's pretty reminiscent. No synergy or anything. Pretty basic fight. Not something super interesting. We're not in nearly the cool stuff yet. All right, 13th place. We got the Aqua Hydra. This is the boss. It's like kind of like looks kind of like a what are those things called? Like a sea lion, not a sea lion. I keep wanting to call him a horsey, like the Pokemon. What are those things called? Oh my gosh, a seahorse. Duh, seahorse. It's kind of like that with an electric armor, kinda. Basically, you find this when you're trying to clear out Pierce's ship from all the monsters and everything. This is the last thing. You finish clearing out everything, and he shows up right there at the end. This is a pretty cool one. You have some like little jellies with you, things like that you're fighting. So this is cool, but not amazing. So you just have to defeat that. Next up, we have number 12 is Mawapa. Mawapa and his two knights. This is the end of the trial road, trying to get the Hover Jade. So not the Hover Jade. What do you get? You get something it helps you get into the Venice Lighthouse or the Jupiter Lighthouse. I don't remember what you get for it, but it's basically, again, it's like the Bandits and Briggs earlier, but better. Pretty much why it's higher. As far as Aqua Hydra, I just think Moep's a more interesting character than Aqua Hydra. There's a more build up to him, which is why he's higher, but not a super interesting boss fight. Number 11, we have the Avamander. This is the boss that, so Briggs, after you defeat, Briggs leaves, he goes all the way back to Champa. You follow him to Champa, and his Briggs is going to be protected by his grandmother, and the grandmother creates this Avamander to help deter you from taking Briggs in. She has no idea about his pirate deeds or anything, but it's basically a giant lizard, Avamander, and which is pretty cool. Like, it's more of a monstrous thing, which I thought was a better twist. And the big thing, and defeating this gets you the access to make the Poseidon's Trident. So, number 10, we're almost getting to the ones I started to enjoy. This is the first one I can say I legitimately enjoyed, and this is King Scorpion. Number 10 is King Scorpion. This is like the one at the end of Yampi Desert. You basically have been using Pound. You've been using Pound to get this little scorpion that is going along the sand to go up and around, things like that. And you goes through and everything. At the very end, you're following this through multiple screens, and you get to the end, and it pops out and fights you, and it's just you against this giant scorpion. It's pretty cool. Number 9, we have the Great Serpent. So here on out, we got bangers. The serpent, you spend all this time doing it. There's this big build-up. You have, people are used to sacrificing the serpent, and it's in one of the rocks, because all 4 rocks are pretty good, but this is definitely the weakest one. But it does have the only boss battle out of the rocks, and that is the Great Serpent. This one's pretty cool. It has been weakened because of all the light that you put in there and everything, which makes me like literally freaked out. Like, what if it was not weakened? What if you hadn't been fading? Like, that'd be a pretty crazy boss fight. There's also, I know this has 3k health, and it just does a lot of earth moves at you, things like that. So, number 8, we have Poseidon. The King of Seasons Health. You cannot even hit Poseidon until you use the trident you had used. So if you had gotten there, going through this crazy thing where you have to learn the route from the Yalom kids, and you're like going through the route, and like all that, unless you have the trident, all for nothing. So you get in there, you get that, you get going, and then Poseidon has some crazy stuff. He sends like waves at you and all this stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So yeah. Poseidon, number 8. Number 7, the final boss, the Doom Dragon. Doom Dragon has one move that is crazy looking, and it's really cool. And that is the... it's called Outer Space, and it's basically flies up into space and comes crashing down on you, and it is so cool looking. But I had a really easy time with this. I think it's because we had such a hard time with Dullahan that everything else is easy. But moving on, number 6, we had Sentinel. Number 6, Sentinel. So the big thing about Sentinels, you cannot use any synergy on him. One thing I did not remember is that I thought maybe you could use, like Break or something like that to kind of bring his stats back down. But nope, nothing like that. But this was a pretty basic fight. All we did is basic attack and heal up, and we stayed on him, and we were able to beat him. It's pretty cool looking, like armor, but yeah. Number 5, we have the Flame Dragons. This is story-wise is the biggest reason why it's up here, and I like the fight. Basically, it's Karshi Nagashio. They were turned into dragons by the Wise One, and so you're fighting them. It's the boss at the end of the first half of the Mars Lighthouse, and you're able to get the Mars Star back from them because of this. I enjoyed this because of the story implications, as well as I thought the fight was much cooler than Sentinel. So, number 4, right above it, Karshi Nagashio. This one is cool. I thought this. Okay, it's top 4. Real talk. I love the top 4 of these. Even the one that gave me so much trouble and almost made me really frustrated, I still think is fantastic. Karshi Nagashio. So the cool thing about this is you come in one at a time. So it's like you and Pierce go in, then you have another come in, then you have another come in, and it's like building up, and your forces are building as you're doing this fight, and you're still fighting. It's like Satros Minority level of fight and everything, but not nearly as good, to be honest. But this is just a cool fight, and you're like bringing in people. Number 3, Voluker. Voluker's big thing is he will use your Jin against you, and so basically what you want to do, and what I did is I just let him use my Jin, and then I would summon him, and then he would basically help me out, but he would still use them against me. But it was a pretty cool fight to just, your biggest asset is Jin that I've been using the entire game, and suddenly like you can't do that anymore. You have to rely on him to doing stuff for you. So that was pretty interesting. In second place, we have 2 super bosses left to go, and I'm going second place. I'm going Star Magician. So the Star Magician's big gimmick is he has 4 balls around him. Your choices are, I think, the Guardian Ball, which like kind of shields him, kind of like your like Flash or something like that. Like so you barely take any damage. Anger Balls, which basically just hit you hard and they'll explode. Thunder Balls, which do thunder synergy at you, and then Recovery Balls. I think that's all of them. So the biggest thing you have to worry about is you have to get rid of the Guard Balls or Defense Balls or whatever they're called ASAP, because they will, veil him over and over and he can't do anything. And you have to get rid of the Recovery Balls because they will heal him big time. And then, so I think at one point I ended up getting like 4 different Thunderballs on screen, and I just went ham on Star Magician. And I think that was what won me the fight. And let's go for number 1 here. Number 1, even though I died over 150 times and I had to grind like 4 hours to get this sucker, get my party able to defeat this guy, it is not easily, but it's definitely Dillahan. It's definitely Dillahan. Very cool fight. He has some crazy moves. The fact that he can summon Karen, which is absolutely nuts. You can Jin Storm, knock out all of your people, pretty much. And they're counting on the stats like I was. That's a rough. He also has that, I think it's called Foreman Estate, where he does anything and it can almost insta-kill people. It's just, the dude has a toolkit to work with, and he really, really will make you feel it. Such a cool fight, though. Love Dillahan. Very glad that I was able to do this game and everything. But I'm also, because I've definitely played Golden Sun 1, Golden Sun 2 a lot, and that's, I'm glad I got to do it on stream for other people and everything, and I'm very excited for Golden Sun Dark Dawn, because I've only played it once, so I'm pretty excited. So thanks guys for watching, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys later, and stay noodly. Love you guys, bye bye!